Hey everybody, Michael Coe here with Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing kind of like a production sample show and tell. It's not so much an unboxing because this isn't the final product yet, but these are samples that we've received from the factory, and I definitely want to show all this off to you because it is amazing. And there's a lot to show. As you can see, this is quite huge. So bear with me as I try to do this in a way that you're able to see everything that's going on. But right here in front, we're seeing the game mat, which is remarkable, and it's huge. There are some things about it. Maybe it's just because it's one of the first samples that came out. The printing's kind of faded in some spots and whatnot. So I'm definitely going back to the printer on this one, saying, hey, look, we got to make sure that the print is nice and crisp all the way across. So don't get too concerned about that. Again, these are still just samples, and I'm still having to go back and forth with the factory a little bit on these. And that's why these things take a long time, is because you got to wait till samples are made and sent, and then we got to approve them or send them back. And so that's kind of some of the stages that we're in right now. So, and we're going to do like nice rounded corners. This one has hard corners. So there's a few things still that we're going to change up with this map. But I mean, you can see the parts that do have a nice print are very vibrant. It very much is alive and beautiful. It's got some great utility by offering spots for some of the promos down at the bottom of the map. These are not featured on the actual map that comes in the game, so that's pretty cool. It's one of the nice features of the playmat itself. And then over here in the back, we have the 2 core boxes, and then also the 3 boxes that are going to contain the promos. So I'll kind of show these to you a little bit closer. These are the tuck boxes. So this one here is for the Nomads. It's going to be the Nomads mini expansion. And as you can see, it shows all the cool miniatures that you're getting on the back there, as well as some spell cards and, of course, the rules to do it. And then here's the Mercenary Pack 1. You see it features the miniatures on the front with the characters, and then this cool like little sidebar where it kind of shows the characters in this kind of like comic setting. It's pretty fun. And then the back here as well. So you can see this turned out really nice. I don't have any of the miniatures inside right now because those are all inside the box, because I wanted to show everybody how when you get everything, if you're fully into this game, with the exception of the mat, of course, you can fit everything into these 2 boxes with the constructs fully built, and I'll show you that in just a bit. But here's the Mercenary Expansion Pack number 2. So this one has Balador and Mechmaster Sid, which you can see here on the side. So these ones are a bit bigger. These are kind of the fatter, more premium style minis, so you can see kind of the difference in the sizes of the 2 promo boxes. There you go. And then of course that Nomad box is so huge, which is really awesome. It's actually going to be just a titch taller than what you're currently seeing now. It'll probably come up to just another like ½ inch taller. Again, that's just part of the process of going through the samples, and right now just needs to be a little bigger. So let's take a look inside and see what we have in this gigantic box of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So I'm going to first kind of show off how we put it all in, and I'm going to move the camera here probably as well. So give me just a moment while I try to get a little bit closer into the action here. Okay, so and I'll take it all out, and then I'll put it all kind of back in so you can see what's going on. But you can see how I have the Nomads tucked into this box. So here's the tray that's going to feature all the Nomads. And the way that I put these all together, I keep these Nomads in the base game box. So I'm going to pull out all these components, and then I'll move this box out of the way so you can see the components. So there's just a ton in here, but it all fits, and it all fits constructed. It's really quite perfect, actually. We use every inch of it. Now, some of these pieces, I've gone ahead and applied just a little bit of like crazy glue or super glue to some of the pivot points of these pieces and stuff, just to hold them in place, because once you build them, you never have to deconstruct them. So feel free to do that with your own copy. I would encourage that. It's makes them really nice. They're already very sturdy as is, but touching it with just a little dab of glue goes a long way. Okay, let me get all this out here. Okay, and so you can see underneath all the constructs, I have the faction boards, and on the back side of these faction boards is the solo version of each faction. So you're able to play all the different factions as solo enemies in the game. Now this is just a rulebook printed from a print-on-demand service, and so they had to do like this wire binding thing. That's not going to be the case. The rulebook will be a traditional saddle staple rulebook. You're not going to get that like binding on the side, but their facility didn't have what was needed for the full size. The rulebook's huge. It's actually not a lot of pages though, but it's just large in its dimensions. All right, and then we've got the game board. It's a quad fold. That's what you see here. And then I'll actually move the mat out of the way, and I'll lay the board out and where the mat is in just a moment. And then we got 2 layers of miniatures. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a little bit of a better view here for you on these, and these are upside down, so let me just spin that around. So there you go. So there's 2 layers. Each layer has 40 miniatures, so there's a total of 80 miniatures inside. Pull these out and set the rest aside here. So these have a really nice vacuum sealed tray that they come in, and then there's a cover that goes over top of the first tray, and then up in the top we have kind of these little compartments where you can hold your exploration tokens once punched out, all your wood bits, and I'll kind of show those in just a sec, as well as your cards. And then all of the minis have these vacuum sealed spots that they snap into, so it's really, really nice. You know, you can hear that when I take it out, or even when I put it back in, you can kind of hear it snap in, and they don't fall out. See, I'm holding it upside down, shaking it. So they're all perfectly fitted in here. This front one features the humans and the orcs. And then down in this bottom tray, I have more cards. Looks like I'm holding the cards for the Siege Equipment mini expansion, as well as I've got the Nomad stuff in this box as well. Here's the little sheet with some Nomad spells, the Nomad Mercenary card, the rules. And then here's the spells for the game. Here's the heroes. And then I'll show you these. They all snap in really nice. You know, we just got back from Gen Con where we showed this off, and the reactions were just phenomenal. People, they couldn't walk by without stopping and saying, what in the world is that game? This has so much table presence. It's going to be so exciting for you to get it to your table, to play it in front of your friends at your local game stores or at a convention. People are just going to go nuts over it. So that's super duper exciting. Okay, so let me show you here. I'll kind of move some of this out of the way. Bear with me. And I want to show you some of this stuff. So there's just so much. You just get so much in this game. It's such a behemoth. Alright, so I'm going to move this mat out of the way, and I'm going to lay out the board so you can see kind of how the board is in comparison. Maybe I'll actually lay the board over top of the mat at first, just so you can see how big it is. But let me show you some of these constructs too while I've got them out. So this is the Elf Phoenix. So it may be hard to see on camera. It may not do it a lot of justice, but these are just so beautiful, and it's made out of a really, really thick cardstock. It's almost like plastic. They feel like plastic and how thick they are. And you don't see any sort of like wear marks. You don't see any sort of little like kisses or anything where they rip off of the punch board. Nothing like that. They're just so perfect. And then let me show you. Here's the stands that you'll be getting, and I'll kind of show you. So when you put the stand in, you're going to go from the back of the construct, and you're going to take the rectangle of the part of the stand, and you're just going to insert it down into the back all the way to the front, and it's going to fit in perfectly. Look, they're tight. It's really nice. They're not going to fall off. And there you go. Now you've got your elevated construct. And I'll get you a little close-up. I'm also going to post some pictures, so you'll see some pictures. Here's the war crocodile. This guy's super gnarly with his cannons and his cage strapped to his body. This is a really neat unit in the game, as it will actually crawl up out of the water onto the land and attack the units. It's really cool. Here's the human's boat, so you can see the cannons off the side of the boat as well. This is a really, really nice piece. All of these constructs hold 2 units. So, and I'll show you one when we get the units in there. Here's the dragon. He's really, really sweet. And again, you just take the rectangle part, you insert it through the bottom, and there you go. Now you got them on the stand. And we got art underneath them. You can see their underbelly. It was just so beautiful. Really a great job from everybody on the team. All right, let me move some of this out of the way here. And then I'll kind of, once I get the board out, I'll show you kind of how it all looks on the board and how the towers look, and the siege equipment are really exciting. Okay, so let me just tilt this up a little bit more. All right, so you'll kind of see a little difference in the shade of blue on the maps. That's because the play mat is actually featuring a newer art file than what this quad fold board is. The blue, the vibrant blue that you see of the ocean, that's going to actually be the color that this board will have as well. We just don't have a sample of it quite yet, so just use that. So you can see already how much larger this mat is than the board itself, so which is really cool. It just, of course, you know, you got to have a bigger table for the play mat, but so depending on the size, whether the board or the mat works for you. But the mat is so beautiful, and so is the board. So, all right, let me see here. Let me just move some of this out of the way because I want to get the full board put out for you and show you, and then I'll kind of show you some more specifics, and then I'll even put it all back in the box for you so you can see. So here's the expansion box, Order and Chaos. This introduces the 4 additional factions of the Lion King, the Undead, the Lizard Folk, and the Goblins. Okay, and then in this box, I'll try to get you a good look at this. I actually have the mercenaries in this box as well as the expansion content. So here's the Mercenary Pack 1 that's got Gamelin and all sorts of awesome guys, and then here's Mercenary Pack 2. You can see they all have these nice trays, so they're all in these vacuum fitted spots so they don't fall out. Okay, and in the same way, I've got all the constructs laid out on top. I'm just going to set these in the back here, bear with me for a moment, and then I'll show you the board. Check that out, that's the Undead Fairy. It's really, really sweet. Yeah, it turned out so great. All of this just turned out so perfect. Okay. So here's an example of the tower pieces. So when you punch it out, it's going to be like this. and then you're gonna just, it's all kind of like pre-cut for you to just bend it around into a circle like this. And then you just take the top piece and you essentially plug in through those little cuts, and it just fits in real nice like that. And there you go. Now you got your tower, and those pieces add a lot of structural integrity, and they also kind of act as like the cool little fortifications at the top of the tower. All right, pull the rest of this out here. And then again, I've got the player boards for the different factions. Those just go underneath the constructs on top of the board. And then here's the board. This one is just a two-fold board. It's the extension board that you'll add to the base game board. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay. And then this will add on right there. So now you can see the full board versus the play mat, and you can kind of see the difference in their size. I gotta show you one more thing. This is the Goblin helicopter. Check that out. This thing is so rad. And same way, you just take the stand, rectangle side, in from the back, push it down to the front, and it holds it right in place. And then you'll see this one's also got the trays of miniatures, another 80 miniatures in the expansion. There you go. And then this also has those additional wells where you can hold like the wood bits for the expansion, the hero cards. So check this out. Let me show you some goblins inside. So it depends on who you got driving this thing. But here we go. We got maybe not as easy to see on the camera. We got King Glut, and then behind him a tiny little warrior holding his musket. And then these just snap back right into place. But let me show you, see if I can get kind of a nice view of this guy. He's a really cool sculpt. You can see on the back his cloak is all tattered. Yeah, look at that guy. He's really great. You're gonna love the quality of these miniatures. All right, let me move this out of the way here. And then just more cards that come with the expansion, more tactic cards, more hero cards, all of those good things. And then underneath the goblins and the lizards are the undead and the lionkin. There's really great colors too. I feel like the colors of the miniatures really turned out nice, and when you get them across the board, they just look so cool together. So let me see here. I'm just going to try to move this playmat out of the way now so you can see the table just with the game board. So bear with me as I try to pull this out from underneath. I should have practiced so I could do one of those cool like waiter tricks where they just rip the tablecloth right out from under all the glassware and everything just stays. But I don't dare. This is nicer than China. All right. Okay, so that's out of the way. rebuild this here for you. Okay, so that's the board there set up for 6 players. And let me show you how these castles and stuff look. So here would be the undead first tier of the castle. You can see the inside gives you like a little aid of how to put it together. And then when you level up to the second tier, you would tier it up like this. And then when you get to the third tier, you add that next level to your castle, and you get a 3-tiered castle construct, which just is so sweet looking on the board. So here it is placed down on the board, and maybe I'll zoom in here in just a second to show you after I've set some things up. Let's grab some undead and throw them in this boat, just so you can see how cool they look inside their constructs here. So here's a couple of undead units inside the ferry. Yeah, that's so sweet. So we'll put them off at sea. And then I showed you the towers, but I'll kind of show them on the board as well for you. So once you get the whole board built and you've got air units and water units and your towers and everything going, it's just going to really come to life. It's so exciting what it looks like when everything is in place. So here's the undead dragon. That thing is just so cool. Kind of get a look from behind. There you go. That's got the guy inside there. Alright, so when you set this up, you'll see that it actually stands taller than the castle. So let's zoom in just a little here and see if we can see. I'll try to maybe pull it to